A lot of people make the mistake of they leave it to the guest to introduce themselves, which is stupid. Sorry, that was a little harsh. But listen, people will either undersell themselves or oversell themselves. Either they're not going to say anything important about themselves, or they're going to talk for 5 minutes about themselves. You can't let that be dictated, because you, again, the front of the podcast, I got to know why this person's important for me to hear. I tell people, I don't care if I'm interviewing Barack Obama. I'm going to give him a nice introduction. I'm going to set the table beautifully. I'm putting out all the silverware, everything that I would do for any guest. There's another expression that we have. It's called GTF. It's called get to the and that's really important. Just get to the don't spend too much time at the front jibber jabbering. So many people do that. And I tell people, listen, if you're going to jibber jabber at the end of the podcast, because at the front of the podcast, you have new listeners, and new listeners don't know who you are. They don't care what you did yesterday. They're not interested in that. When you have established a podcast and you have hundreds of thousands of listeners, yes, you can jibber jabber at the front, because, hey, you have a P1 audience. But for a new show, listen, do that later when the people are already into the show. They already like you. They're going to listen to you talk about that stuff.